May 8th, 1945. This date might not be so significant to you, but it is one of the most important days of the year, as 75 years ago it saw the end of one of the worst wars in human history, World War II. Well, technically, it only saw the end of the war in Europe because the war in the Pacific technically lasted till August, and the war didn't end until September. But this day is still important because it saw the end of one of the worst regimes in the world, Nazi Germany. By early 1945, the Germans had been pushed far within its borders. And on April 16th, 1945, the Russians entered Berlin. Finally, after weeks of brutal combat, on May 2nd, 1945, Berlin fell to the Russians. And on May 7th, 1945, just 5 days after Berlin fell, Germany finally surrendered. For the soldiers stationed in Europe, the fighting was finally over. Back home, people headed to the streets, parading, because peace had finally come. And the cost that the war brought with it was immense. If one cross represented 3,000 people dead, there would be 13,000 crosses, or about 40 million people dead, just in Europe alone. And more than half of them were civilians. Now, this year's a little different as it marks the 75th anniversary of that date, but due to a current pandemic, we can't really go rushing out into the streets and start parading. But some countries have found a way around that. For example, in the UK, they're holding 2 minutes of silence. They're also broadcasting footage from that time, including a speech from Winston Churchill. They're also holding a toast for all those who died in the war. Now, if you don't live in the UK or somewhere that is honoring that date, there are still some ways that you can celebrate VE Day. You could research World War II and also why it is so important that the Allies won. You can also find out if any of your relatives or family members fought in that war, because their sacrifices still impact us to this day. Now, I know that I'm like a month late on this day, but oh well. Well, I hope all of you are safe and are taking correct precautions to stay that way. And thank you so much for watching.